God bless everyone. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nilesh, sir. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you.
sir.
Bye.
So everyone participants taking the session ahead after this amazing talk by Nilesh Vikamse sir, the past president of ICI. Let's get ready for one of the most asked questions that I have been getting DMs right since 5th of July. The results have been out. कि सर resume कैसे बनाए? Resume ये वाला अच्छा है. I think just yesterday night somebody had an interview today. Somebody sends me a 3-pager interview and puts up, sir, could you quickly check and vet my CV? I'm like, how do you expect me to vet your CV in just couple of minutes? Right? If it would have been that easy, I would have become the AI today, right? And I'm definitely not AI. But I'm sure we've got these amazing panelists, CA Pooja ma'am, CA Rajneesh sir, and CA Parinita ma'am. With their expertise, they are going to go do amazing things. But of course, as we have limited time, no doubt. And I think, first of all, thank you so much, all the panelists, for accepting our invitation and to guide. I think Pooja ma'am, you might have to leave little early as you've some appointment. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much once again. So guys, we have got CA Harshit Kalla, who's an associate at PwC, who will be leading and presiding this session, and the next session CA Chandan would be leading. So let's get ready. Are you all excited? Can I look at the word excited in the chat box from all of you before we actually hit this session? This 40-minute session, make sure that all your doubts are covered of resume, interviews, LinkedIn, all of those. And then we got to get the next session. Lovely. Let me hand it over to this amazing, charming, personality, CA Harshit Kalla, to take this session ahead. Over to you, Harshit.
Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity, first of all. And sir, जो सिखाया आप ही से सिखाए. Thanks again. So I welcome each and every one participant on behalf of Madho, on behalf of Hridesh sir, on behalf of all of us in this the final frontier session number 1, which is the Get Your Basics Right, Career Success Toolkit, Resume, Interview Skills, and LinkedIn Edge. I welcome CA Pooja Malu madam, CA Rajneesh Desai sir, and CA Parinita Adukia madam. I'll start with the brief introduction of the 3 personalities. I don't think these 3 personalities have should require introduction. But just for the new audience, I think those freshly qualified, we should introduce them. So starting with CA Rajneesh Desai sir. Rajneesh Desai sir is a qualified chartered accountant and an Indian company secretary, and has a post-qualification of experience of almost 29 years. Started his career with industry and moved on to KPMG in Middle East, where he worked for 8 years in multiple KPMG global practices. He was on secondments to the South Africa, Nigeria, and UK offices. He returned to India in April 2005. And over the course of next 17 years, he worked with SR Bartley Boy, EY, and grew to become an equity audit partner at BSR and Company KPMG India, 3 of the Big Four covered guys, in the year 2015. His total experience with Big Four firms is more than 26 years. He has joined KNAV and Company LLP in May 23, a firm having offices in 6 countries at the national office as their national office leader. He is also a national quality and risk management partner for KNAV, international integration partner for inorganic acquisitions. Over his career, Rajneesh sir has been involved in conducting more than 2,000 interviews for hiring professionals. So guys, having experience of the years equivalent to all or so many of the freshly CA qualified, let us welcome CA Rajneesh Desai for you.
Thank you, Harshit. Thank you.
Next, moving on to CA Parinita Adukia ma'am. She is a founder of Portraiture, a soft skills trainer, LinkedIn top voice, author, and a passionate mentor dedicated to help chartered accountants ethnically brand themselves, attract clients, and grow their practice. With over 28,000 professionals coached, she specializes in LinkedIn management and personal building. She also hosts insightful podcasts tailored for CAs. She serves as a visiting faculty member at ICI, Nagindas Kandwala College, and Patkar Vardhe College, contributing actively to academic and professional growth of the accountants. A visiting member of Actuarial Valuation and Quantitative Studies, is also founder member of UR, driving youth empowerment and leadership initiatives. So with so much of expertise and skills, ladies and gentlemen, CA Parinita Adukia for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next, moving on to CA Pooja Malu ma'am, a chartered accountant by qualification. She also holds an MBA in finance and an internationally certified trainer, complemented by a diploma in multimedia. Her diverse background allows her to offer a holistic perspective on professional development. She is a dedicated skill strategist and corporate trainer committed to empowering individuals with essential corporate and management that extend beyond conventional education. Her passion lies in guiding students and young professionals to navigate the competitive world with confidence and effective communication. She has trained over 70,000 professionals and entrepreneurs. Her online platform has equipped over 5,000 plus chartered accountants with critical career building tools, including resume development. She has coached over 500 students abroad, that is USA. She firmly believes that speaking in public is an addiction, which is very true, and sharing the same with others is a passion. So CA and MBA CA and MBA by qualification and corporate trainer and skill strategist by passion. Ladies and gentlemen, CA Pooja Malu madam for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for accepting and coming to this great session. So let us start this session with, let me ask with one by one all of three that how your day-to-day looks like. Like what do you do in your day-to-day? Just in a crisp manner, if you can brief us through how your day-to-day look like.
You want me to go first, Harshit? I can go first.
You can go with
Typically, every day, if you ask me, is about one is you have about 60% of what is scheduled, right? You know what is to be done.
Exactly.
You've got your diary, you've got things in the diary, you've got things you want to cover, you want to plan for the future. But I find that the firm currently I work in, or even when I was at KPMG, 40% is always an unknown. So don't worry if you feel you've just qualified and 40% is unknown. Don't worry, after 30 years you will still have 40% unknown. Just enjoy the unknown and navigate yourself in that journey.
Got it. That's very true. Thank you so much, sir. Moving on to next, CA Parinita madam.
So being a trainer, I think one thing is there that next 2-3 months are lined up for me because sessions are pre-planned and everything. So I'll say most of my days are planned, but of course, my other part is social media management. So there's always this excitement of what comes new, what is there. So something new always happens. And so one thing, especially for people who are going for practice or whatever, I have this policy that I talk to 2 new people every day. So that part is very exciting for me every day.
Okay, that is also very true. So moving on to Pooja Malu ma'am, CA Pooja Malu.
Well, in this case, my life is pretty different. So I hated auditing the balance sheets. So I started auditing the skill sets of people. So now I end up meeting innumerable people every day and talking about the work hours. When you enjoy what you're doing, actually, like yesterday, I was out for almost 10 hours training. And even when I came back, I wasn't tired. So some days I'm not working at all, and some days I work a lot. It all depends on a day-to-day basis. But I enjoy what I do, and that's what matters the most.
Okay, thank you for that. So what we observed, the common thing is that part of the day is already planned. Yes. Okay, so partial of the day is already planned, and the next part is already almost unknown. So without wondering for the unknown part, what we should focus on is what we planned. We should execute it wonderfully, and then let's see what unknown things come to our day-to-day. Okay, so starting with the questions which we received within last couple of days with all the newly qualified, that what to do, what days that interviewing. So let us start with the very basic. Once we qualify, the day we see that successful in our result, the first question in our mind is CV कैसे बनाएं? How to make an attractive CV so that जैसे कोई भी selector के सामने जाए and he should select at first go. So what's the common mistake? I think all of you three can answer this very well. What's the common mistake that you see in all the CVs from the newly qualified, that is fresher CS, that you have seen? Starting with Rajnish sir again.
Yeah, so see, the thing I notice, Harshit, is that a lot of people do standardized CVs. They prepare one CV and they feel one size fits all, but it doesn't work like that. You have to have customized CVs. You got to look at who your employer is, what skills you want to bring to the table. And I think more importantly, the recruiter or the hirer is looking for a storyline. They're saying, okay, you've got a good degree, but what's the difference between Anil and Sunil? Both have got a chartered accountancy. The difference is, what you put together in your CV. Your educational qualification important, but if you've done certain achievements and you bring something to the table, be it teamwork, be it learning skills, your ability to do something beyond your normal chartered accountancy, please write about it. And therefore, I always tell people, have a learning log of what you learned in your chartered accountancy course, and not just in CA, even before that. That will help you build your CV. And please do not send one CV to everybody. And then you will complain, the employer is not shortlisted me. The world is unfair. The blame comes back to you. You're sending a standard CV, 5 different employers. It's not going to work like that.
True, true. Pooja ma'am, as per you, one common mistake generally what people would typically make in their CVs.
So I would rather give you 5 of them, just the main pointers. Reason being, these are the 5 mistakes, and I don't know whether they would be able to know this or not. So the resume is no more screened by humans in big companies. It's actually shortlisted through an ATS. So the problem is ATS has got certain restrictions. And if you are just making a general resume, might be a human would have selected it, but the ATS doesn't shortlist your resume. So very quickly, I'll tell you 5 points. One, majority of you would have still made your education section in a tabular format. Please do not make this mistake. Majority of the ATS has got problems in reading tables. So remove all the tables, instead use separators or pipes to write the different segments. That's one. Second thing is, as Rajneet sir rightly stated, your resume doesn't work like L'Oreal 5 problem, 1 solution. Please create a separate one for every job that you're interested in. So I always say keep one resume that you send randomly to companies just for the sake of it, because we are lazy enough not to create 100 resumes. But for the companies you're really, really interested in and you want to be a part of it, give some time and prepare your resume. Because this resume, as well as a job description, is going to be 90% of the syllabus for your interview. So when you're writing your own syllabus, I think you should give little more time.
True, true.
Third thing is, each sentence in your resume should start with an action verb. So when I say action verb, don't start it with I have. These are some common things that come across. So use action verbs like worked, filed, prepared, streamlined, executed. There are a lot of action verbs that's available online. Please search for them and start it with an action verb. Quantify wherever possible in your experience. So if I generally say file GST returns, and if you state file more than 50 GST returns, the second option is way more powerful. So quantify wherever possible. Fifth thing is, add a LinkedIn profile. And that LinkedIn profile should have some substance in it. I mean, an empty profile and just adding the link is not going to make your life better. Okay, so start posting. You still have 5, 7, 10 days. At least post something other than the fact that you've become a chartered accountant. So the account was opened 5 years back and the post today is cleared CA. That's your LinkedIn profile and it's not a good one. So and last thing, please do not make a resume that is vertically divided.
Okay.
Again, ATS cannot read it. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I guess highlighted each and every point. I guess 100% of the points very right. So my next question to CA Parinita ma'am is, ma'am, do you recommend one pager CV or is a longer version is acceptable in one's career?
Today, see, like Pooja ma'am said, you have to understand that people are not reading your CV, it's the ATS. So, moving, from where Pooja ma'am said, yes, tabular, the systems cannot read the tabular manner. So it has to be sentence. It has to not have those divisions in page, which the ATS again won't be able to catch. So taking things into consideration, a one page, don't, the idea is not to restrain yourself to a one page that I will anyhow complete my CV in one page. Even if it's 2 page, your details should be filled. And this is one gap that we see a lot, that, the students make this mistake that whatever articleship that they've done, in their experience, their work experience or their articleship experience, they only put up the role and responsibility that they have done there. And like Pooja ma'am said, they're not explaining how did they add value. And that will take a bit of space. So don't restrain yourself to one pager. make it detailed. Of course, one pager is easier for people to scan and everything, but if it goes to two pager, no issues. Just make sure your details are filled in properly.
Okay. Very well highlighted, ma'am. Like you rightly said that CV should not be one pager only. It can go two pager in detailed, but it should be something, that the eye catcher for the interviewer or the selector. So the final question regarding CV to Rajnish sir will be that what keywords do you see, like immediately eye catcher, what keywords in CV do you find that you got interest in a candidate?
So, see, there are these little things. Sometimes people invest in taking a professional photograph. Some people are against putting a photograph because, like maybe Pooja ma'am said, ATS will not catch it. But if a human is seeing it, which eventually will happen, because you go to a manager or a partner or a senior person, having a professional photograph shows you've invested time, effort to sort of put yourself on your CV if you can. Secondly, I want to see things which are relevant in today's time, right? For example, if it is audit, I want to see somebody doing, courses on data analytics, or has done some special courses on AI, or has done some courses on automation, or is in tune with the times. I don't want him to say, I go and play cricket. Oh, you're happy to play cricket on your Thursday, Friday, or Sunday. But that's not going to count when I'm looking at a differentiator. The other thing I'm looking for is somebody who's a team player. So if you've, like, for example, the other day, somebody's arranged a tournament of, let's say, 200 people and got people together for a tournament. That means you're an organizer. You are a leader, right? So I'm looking for instances which show that this person stands out of the crowd.
Okay, got it. I think
One last cheat code, Harshit. Chat GPT can actually help you create a good CV. You feed Chat GPT and say, what are the keywords that a particular recruiter will look out for? You feed that to Chat GPT, it's going to give you suggestions and say, these are the changes you need to make in your CV.
Definitely. I think every newly qualified or all the persons making CV should use this, should make most of the use of this AI technology, ChatGPT. Very well said, sir. Next, like CV to ban gaya. I have couple of questions more, but I guess you three covered all the questions in one or two go. So moving on to like CV to ban gaya, abhi like nice, it is nice CV, and we got our CV got shortlisted also. But now jab call aaya ki like you have a scheduled interview next. So इंटरव्यू के लिए जो भी स्किल्स लगेंगे हमें या फिर जो भी इंटरव्यू स्किल सेट्स वी कैन से द कॉन्फिडेंस वी हैव सो द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू सी परिणीता मैम what are the top 3 things a candidate should prepare before any interview, like before going to the first interview, or we can say like that?
Okay. Yes, that's a very good word that you said. What happens is most of the people or students that I know, interview call aaya, uthe aur chale. So that should never ever be the case. Preparation is the key. The more you are prepared, so confidence does not just come, that you are a naturally confident person. Confidence is always about your preparation and how much in detail do you know about things that you're going to say. So the first thing that you should be doing is a thorough research about the company. Try to get to know who will be taking your interview. You can very well ask the HR about that. Do a thorough research about the person as well, because what happens is when you already know the person who is going to take the interview, you kind of have that hesitation goes away and you are more comfortable sitting in front of that person and you're really speaking. Second is go back and look at the work that you've already done, because a lot of times people forget. 3 years articleship, you tend to not remember everything. But try to first go back on whatever work that you've done and then match it to the JD. And this is again a very, very important step. Look at what the employer is looking from you. So it's never that you are a bad candidate. It is about, does your skill and your experience match with what the person is looking for? You should have the ability to show the company that whatever my experience is, I can align that to the expectations of the companies, the role, and I am a good candidate like that. So you have to analyze your past experience, analyze the JD, and see where are the skills matching. And if there are any gaps in the JD, that any skill that you don't know, any technology or particular application you're not aware of, please do a research about that. At least have a know-how of what the thing is. You can say that I don't have a hands-on experience, but of course, this shows that you have at least done your research. So research on the company, on your past experience, and match it with the JD, your expectations. This is something that is very, very important.
Very rightly said, and I totally agree with you, ma'am. Like, I still remember many of the candidates or many of my friends have gone unprepared for the interview, and they were totally blank when they were asked like, what you know about us, what you know about the firm. So I guess all the candidates hearing this should prepare well in advance about the JD, about the firm, about the company you are visiting.
Yes, you get these questions like, have you visited our website?
Yeah, exactly.
And what did you like about the website? So these questions really show ki, are you serious and have you done that research?
Definitely, I totally agree. My next question to CA Pooja Malu ma'am is, ma'am, what are the common red flags you observe in all the fresh candidates?
What is the common?
Red flags.
Red flags. Well, they believe that they should know 100% of the answers in an interview. Even a single no during an interview makes them feel that they are too overwhelmed. And after that, they would spoil the entire interview. Let me tell you, if you just swap the seats and make the interview sit on the other side, even Rudesh sir or Anisha, you would agree that the interviewer doesn't know it all. So it's much easier to ask questions and to give answers. So calm down. Even if you can't answer one or two of them, it's fine. Learn to say no. If you do not know anything completely, please don't hesitate to say a no, because if you're trying to just make some answer out of a technical question about which you have no clue, suddenly wo nahi hoga. Okay, so if you don't know anything about it, say a no and then say, but sir, that's a great question. I would like to go back home and research on it. At least end it with a positive attitude. Second thing, something that I learned from one of my students, if you partially know a particular answer, you're not very sure about it, but you know it, that somehow manage ho jayega. So what you can do is, instead of saying I'm not very sure, don't use any negative work, and instead start the answer by saying, correct me if I'm wrong, and then give the answer. So if you just understand, I'm not using any negative word when I'm saying correct me if I am wrong. In a manner, I am apologizing already in advance for a mistake I might make. Next thing, as Parinita ma'am said that you can know about, try and know about the interviewer, I like to just suggest a particular website. It's called crystalknows.com, CRYSTALKNOWS. Just put in the LinkedIn profile and you would get a complete analysis of your interviewer, whether he's logical, whether he's creative, whether he's a person who would like you to be absolutely impromptu, or the one who's prepared. And if I know how you would like me to answer, Harshit, I am sure my interview would at least be 1, 2, or might be 50% better. So sometimes AI can be used in our favor if you know them well. And third thing, create out of the box questions. So you said red flags. The problem is students are really over prepared. Itna YouTube say they come to know about things that at the end of the day, they don't know what's right, what's wrong. Right. So red flag is, don't over prepare. It's just an interview, and believe me, the organization needs you as much as you need the job. They are not obliging you. If they are paying you a CTC of 15 or 20 lakhs, they would end up earning at least twice the amount. Because of you. So don't be desperate. Believe me that something great is planned for each one of you. So just go with the flow. Pehla nahi, dusra nahi, to teesra shayad better opportunity. Okay, Crystal knows. CRYSTALKNOWS.
I think all the red flags by you, ma'am, to be avoided by all the freshly qualifieds or any new fresher, I can say, not only the chartered accountants or any new fresher going for a job. So moving on to forward, next question to Rajneesh sir will be, how should a candidate handle question like, tell me about a time you failed or what are your weakness? And let us connect this question with another one, like, what if this situation was in-person interview, physical interview? And what if the situation was an Zoom meeting or an online interview?
So this is a very favorite question, Harshit. What happens is people want to see whether, you've always had success in your life. Because, I feel failure can be a great teacher. And you also need to make sure you don't tell somebody such a big failure that the person feels, you're not the right person to hire. I think it's important to present something which genuinely you feel you have improved on. So there will be hundreds of things you've not done well, right? It could be things like you've not delegated well something, or you've not studied as consistently as you should have. Or, for example, you had a bias on judging somebody, as a friend. Now, these are all the things as a human being, if you're improving, then you should pick one or two examples. But always remember, pick an example which is not extreme, and pick an example which you can demonstrate that you've overcome that particular shortcoming. Because you don't tell somebody, oh, you know what, I have a shortcoming. When I join your firm or your company, I'll work on developing it. That's not what an employer wants. He wants to see that you've got over it, but that you're also human enough to make mistakes in life. Secondly, is digital interviews are always a huge challenge. While you are trying to impress the employer also is trying very hard to assess whether you are the right candidate to pick, right? In addition, you'll not believe it, but today we are also to watch out that the candidate is not cheating on the answers by referring to ChatGPT on a second screen. It's that bad. There are candidates who are cheating on second screens. You can see their eyes moving. You can see a second screen which is glaring. Now, therefore, having the screen at the right distance, making sure you're very professionally presentable, making sure that it's a comfortable smile, you're not laughing, but there's no frown, making sure you've prepared well and you're answering things with a poise, you're taking the power of the pause. You don't go on and on and on, right? If there's a question you want to answer, to the point. So all those things are very important in digital interviews. You have to stay focused. At the same time, stay yourself. Don't get over conscious about everything. As Pooja ma'am said, the hiring company also wants a good person and they want to make money out of you. So they're as desperate as you are to get in. So don't let the desperation, impact you.
Very rightly said, sir. I feel this question about tell me about time you failed and connecting it with the digital or in-person interview. Yes, every candidate should, prepare for whatever you said, the body language, the presentable, the smile he wears. Definitely all the points highlighted were 200% right. Moving on to next section, I think all the questions which interview sections, I guess, all are covered. Moving on to next session, which is LinkedIn optimization, which I think which is a very, underlooked section. Like no one focuses. Every fresher have like a blank LinkedIn profile. Just to like as very rightly said by one of our faculty attending that LinkedIn profile डालो but blank मत डालो उसमें कुछ तो होना चाहिए like to when someone visits your LinkedIn profile you have something in it. So the next question like what should a newly CA absolutely include in their LinkedIn about section? Like when someone will visit, he definitely will start with the about section. CA Pooja ma'am, over to you.
I think Pari ma'am would be able to tell this in a better manner, and I would just connect it to the resume. I think you're into LinkedIn, right?
Sorry?
Yes.
Yes, I think Pari ma'am would be the right one. Since we have limited time, I think the expert should speak in this regard.
Nothing like that. But I think about section has to, like Rajesh sir said, there has to be a story. So don't keep your about section very, very short or so long that the person really gets bored by the end of the time. But there are key factors or features that should be included in your about section. Is first, of course, your experience that you have had at your articleship. Don't make it very, very technical because you have another section, experience section later on in the LinkedIn to really keep the technical points there. But of course, make sure that whatever experience that you're sharing, make it in a para, in a story format, and also if you are very clear about what you need to or what you want to do in future, the kind of role that you're looking for, try and align your experience with your skills that are required for your goals. Okay, that will give a perspective to the hirer who is visiting your LinkedIn profile that your whatever skills are required for this particular job, this person already has some kind of experience. So make it a story. So first is you have to talk about your experience, but not in very technical manner. Talk about the extra skills that you have been working on. Like Sir said, whatever skills, so AI or whatever extra that you are doing to enhance yourself, because people sometimes miss going later to your certification area and they might miss it. So if you feel that it's very essential for the role that you are looking at, include that in your about section. And lastly, give a bit perspective about you as a person. Don't keep it very technical. So whatever extra that you're doing, extracurricular or something some voluntary service or some organizing, sports, whatever you are into, just mention a bit about that in your about. And of course, give your contact details and your email ID, because a lot of people miss that even in the contact section in the LinkedIn area. So make it easy for people to reach out to.
Very
Yes,
rightly
ma'am.
said, like in the LinkedIn about profile section, it should not be too large and it should include about the person who is writing. Okay. So the viewer, the reader should connect with that person, that what the exact person is. And I think brilliantly highlighted that mentioning the contact details and email ID, which many of us misses. That is a very, missed point, which everyone should note. And I think those who have joined or those who will listen to this recordings later on, just include a contact details and email ID in your about section. Moving on to next question to Rajnish sir. What are some small but impactful things fresh GS can do on LinkedIn to build visibility and credibility?
So, Harshit, start investing very early in your LinkedIn. People spend a lot of time on other social media tools. LinkedIn also is an important tool to have. Please do not post non-professional posts on LinkedIn. I've seen people post vacation photographs, wedding photographs, crazy things on LinkedIn. That's not why LinkedIn is for. The second is you should follow the right type of people on LinkedIn also, right? So look at people who are trailblazers, people who are businessmen, people in your own sector, field, who are experts. Learn from what they post, how they do it, and then take those baby steps in the right direction. See, remember, you want to post something which is original also, right? You don't want to just repost something. So there's no harm. You can use ChatGPT again to do a bit of research, go through a few things, put a viewpoint. It could be something related to work-life balance, could be something related to something technical, non-technical. But again, keep it professional. Keep it not very long. I see some posts which are super long, and then it becomes very, very challenging to go through them. It's not a Facebook post, right? And it doesn't need to have 120 photographs. It needs to have one or two photographs if it's relevant. Please also do post photographs. Somebody also wants to see a bit of visibility or something around it. But do that in baby steps. It's like LinkedIn. You got to visit at least once a week to really go through what's happening in terms of people you follow and do things on LinkedIn on a weekly basis. You don't come there once, every Diwali and then, post one post and then you're out for the next 365 days. So create that LinkedIn profile, follow the right people. And, I think you'll learn from that.
I think very well, rightly highlighted. And, it is very important to, build our LinkedIn profile. Many of the freshers or many of us misses this, like to post regularly on LinkedIn. And it is almost, I guess, many more important to, reach out to the, what we can say, this firms, companies which are on LinkedIn. We can visit their profiles, we can follow them, we can identify people employee working there, and we can just cold message to them, cold emails to them that so and I am looking for the opportunity. I still remember my days when I was looking for the job hunt and I went this campus placements, lots of interviews, but I didn't like any job which was offered to me. And where I wanted to join, I was not getting to hear anything. But one certain day, it was one LinkedIn message. I dropped one LinkedIn cold message to one girl, and all of a sudden she replied, yes, there is one vacancy. Like I'm, telling about my current job at PwC. She told, yes, send your resume. And I send her my resume that this is my resume. I want this domain, this is. So she referred me. And by evening, I got a call that, have you applied? I told yes. And I think it was my dream job that I just got with the, very rare or very random LinkedIn cold message. So I think I will suggest, or like as you rightly highlighted, that building LinkedIn profile and reaching out the ones through LinkedIn is very helpful. Like I have my live incidents, like personal experience. So yeah, since Pooja ma'am, you are getting a bit.
Harshit, just 1 minute. I have one thing to add.
Yes.
that usually students are unaware about, that if like just say yes or no in the chat box. Do you know that your resume can actually be downloaded through LinkedIn? So just like if you start LinkedIn on your desktop, then on the right hand side there are three dots and you can do download as PDF. So now that is like your social proof for the resume you are sending. So
Yes.
please make sure that the entire resume is completed, because they might do a check through the like the PDF they have downloaded through your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so many of them might be knowing it and many don't. So I just thought I would cover this point.
I think very well highlighted, ma'am. Most of the candidates might miss this point. Like this is a security check kind of all the companies, all the firms should do. And if we send some other CV to the firms directly to HR and then they check on LinkedIn ki kuch aur hai, so they will definitely reject this CV ki yahan pe kuch aur bol rahe, wahan pe kuch aur bol rahe, like that.
So I would say start investing on your LinkedIn rather than spending time on Instagram now.
So I think before Harshit goes next, Pooja ma'am, there's one question which has come up, and very interesting question. I mean, I'm also unsure how do we tackle. So if you can guide, and then others also. So a question that is asked is, all the panelists, should we try making the conversation during an interview a bit candid so that it gets easy?
Absolutely.
Or should we do it based on knowing a bit about the interviewer, seniority, and it doesn't end only with technical knowledge? Pooja ma'am, any
So I would just tell you 2-3 things about this. One is that this time, and even after the January attempt, in a few companies, the interview was being taken by an AI. Now, this is extremely strange. I don't want to mention the name of the company. My student came out and he immediately called me that I couldn't complete it because I was so overwhelmed. So just imagine you enter an interview and instead of 3 humans, you find a laptop and it started like this. I hope you are comfortable. Please sit down.
Oh.
The first question is, tell me something about yourself. So now he wanted that human, candid conversation, but unfortunately, it was very difficult. So one, be prepared for it. If you don't see a human, understand that your karma has started paying back in a negative manner.
I need to do more such sessions now.
Yes. Second thing is, yes, please be candid. Please be candid. They have been doing this since morning. And if you are the candidate coming in at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, just post lunch, believe me, if you are too serious, they would not hire you. Not because you were average, but because they were tired. So everyone likes happy people. Had 3 of us had that frown on our face, you wouldn't have been able to sit here for an hour. So have that smile, make it candid. They want humans. They already have a lot of machines. So in regard to seniority, definitely we need to be polite and smiling. We don't need to be aggressive, but genuinely chartered accountants are good people. And we would manage it. So
and I think this where we are researching about the interviewer beforehand, that really comes into play, that where if you can find a common point between you and the interviewer, it will really, really enhance the whole conversation. Because I remember once I had a client I was meeting for the first time, and I did some research, and we came from the same college, had some common points and some things to discuss which I knew. So candidly, within the conversation, I brought that up, and the whole, the trajectory of the whole conversation really went towards being very, very comfortable. So that, research your employer or the interviewer in short, that will really come in handy.
I just added a tool name in the chat box. If you want to get an interview done with an AI bot, it's called Yoodli.ai, YOODLI.ai. It's an interview chatbot. It can interview you. It'll give you feedback. It'll tell you whether you use this. If you use repetitive words, it'll tell you whether your speed of speaking is appropriate or slow. It's going to tell you a lot of things about your English vocabulary. But be ready for really strong feedback. Yoodli is not going to be kind to you.
Oh, I think so. As you said, it's going to be the stricter interviewer, right? So,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sir, just before Harshit goes ahead, so Rajnish sir, so you being a partner at KNAV, and I'm sure you must have had interviewed not just CA qualified, but CA with experience, somebody with articleship coming down, what has your been like maybe 10 years before you used to interview or maybe today? Or maybe a difference between a candidate or where they could improve. Just couple of points on that. And then Arshit, you can take the last tip question.
See, I used to see that the candidates a bit earlier were more prepared for interviews, and they used to be a little more focused on what they want to achieve and why they want to achieve something and why they want to come and join a particular firm. I find, the point that was made earlier, a lot of candidates nowadays are underprepared. And therefore, I actually tell candidates that if you're not prepared, take an extra week. Okay. It's very interesting, Rudesh. Recently there was a candidate who was not crying, but she felt very upset that she had not prepared enough for an interview. I said, don't feel upset. You want a second chance? Go back, read books, read your literature, come back better prepared. We can do this a week or a week and a half down the line. So you got to be mentally, physically prepared, and that's the reason don't rush into interviews, because it is effectively like a chance you get. Very few employers will give you a second chance.
I think very rightly said, sir, that very few employers will give a second chance, and thank you that you were among one of them. Yeah. So moving on to the final question. Before that, about that candid conversation, I would like to add that in my final round of interview at PwC, sometimes it depends upon the situation and the interviewer. The interviewer was so frank that she took full interview seriously for the first technical questions, and lastly, she told very frankly that answer me frankly, what motivated you to do CA? Now I had two options to give a polished answer or to be very frank and tell the truth. So I told her that I'll go with the truth. I was not motivated. I was pressurized to go into CA. Since my elder brother was doing CA, pursuing CA, I was like, you will also do CA. Luckily, I got cleared foundation in first attempt, and that gave me motivation, like a entry point to ho gaya, piche ka dekh lenge. And then it all went, and the day came that I got my prefix. So yes, sometimes, and she also told that, okay, I have seen many candidates who give polished answers. You were the first among one of them that told truth, that you were motivated or you were pressurized. So sometimes it depends upon the situation and the interviewer itself that we have to judge what they are trying to connect or what they are. So yes, moving on to the final question to both of you, I would like to ask Rajnish sir, what is the one tip of advice that you had to give to the newly qualified CA stepping into the professional world?
See, what you should do is prioritize what you want to do first. Interviews is not carpet bombing. Okay, it's like the BrahMos missile. It has to go and hit at the direct points we want it to hit. You can't do carpet bombing. People spray their CVs to 20 different employers as if it's a celebration. You're not doing window shopping, right? You are going and targeting the particular companies and sectors you want to work in. Okay, that is point number one. Number two, don't worry about making mistakes. People worry, oh, I'll get into a particular lane. I can't take a U-turn and come back and do something else after 2 years. It is not that strict. Typically, if you're clear, you want to change track or take a U-turn, it will be allowed. But of course, please don't take 6 U-turns in 12 years. That's not going to help your career. The third is, work on your personality. A lot of times I find work on your personality, work on your physical way that you look. If you got a beard, trim your beard. If you got a shirt, wear a clean shirt. Wear a tie, invest in things. An MBA, if he walks into a room, he's going to wear a jacket and come. But a chartered accountant is going to wear, and trust me, Harshit, this happened to me. A fresh CA came into a room once with an orange shirt and a purple tie. And for a second, I was wondering, should I hire him? Even if he's good enough, is this person going to be presentable? Does he even have a sense of what colors he's wearing? If I send it to a client, the client is going to say, did you send me a joker from circus? So, you got to be presentable. That's the first part. Second is content is very critical. Okay, you may have good looks, you may have everything, you may have confidence, but if you don't have content, if your knowledge is not enough, you're not going to get selected. So you got to go back and read your books. You gave your exams, right? And the third is attitude. You are going to be asked tough questions. For example, somebody will say, what do you think about Narayan Murthy's 70 hours a week? Are you ready to work 70 hours a week? Now, these are tough questions. You've got to be ready as to how you answer them. If you're not ready, then you're going to be in trouble. And the fourth is mock interviews. Please do not walk into an interview like you're walking in a park. Get mock interviews done through experts. Learn from that. Because if you've done mock interviews, you're going to be better prepared to handle the tough questions.
I think very rightly highlighted, sir, and rightly highlighting, I think all the points you have covered, totally 100% points were covered, that there's these things, confidence, attitude, the attire, how you present yourself. I think moving on to Pooja ma'am is back again. 1 second.
Yes. Pooja ma'am is here.
Okay, Pooja ma'am, like one tip of advice you want to give to the newly qualified.
So I would tell you from my experience, a good interview means better negotiating power. Okay, so be prepared, as Rajni said, because if you are not prepared well with an average interview or an under average interview, you might get the job. But ultimately, we have all done chartered accountancy not because we loved study, but because we wanted a better bank balance. So it's very important to give a good interview so that we are in a better end to negotiate and get a better CTC. Once your CTC is finalized, at least for next coming 1 to 2 years, you will have to be at the same level almost, right? So please give a good interview, prepare yourself, particularly in regard to HR questions. So if they're asking you something, tell me about your strengths and weaknesses. You cannot say, I don't know, right? So go through the HR questions that they might ask in regard to technical aspect. Definitely, you are being hired for your technical skills. Soft skills are important, but for a CA, technical skills are also equally important. So whichever field profile you're applying for, know your job description and prepare accordingly to give a good interview.
Like very rightly said, and I think it is very important, as you told, that negotiations plays a major role. Many of students might think that negotiate करेंगे तो शायद से reject हो जाएंगे, because, but no, the interviewer also wants that can you negotiate, you have those skills or not. Very brilliantly highlighted. Coming up to last, Pariniti ma'am, one tip of advice from you for all the qualifieds.
One thing that I would say, especially because Nilesh sir also mentioned and Rajneesh sir again highlighted, that it's not a, don't run a rat race. Be very clear as to what you really want to do with your life, the kind of role that you want to play, the kind of company you want to work with. Align your culture, because this one point I feel a lot of people miss out. Okay, everybody said very good points, and I just want to add this one point. And I've seen the repercussions when you don't align your own personality, your own culture, your values to that with the companies. Just because the company is very good and it might be offering you very good amount, the work is very good, but trust me, if the values or the work culture does not align with you, your own personal work culture, or your idea of the work-life balance, don't join. Because within the next 1 year, you will be so depleted, you will definitely either leave the job or you will be so dissatisfied, you won't be able to give your best. So I have personally seen people leave the companies in 6 months just because the values were not aligning. And it's not one way. Say, for example, if you are a very hardcore workaholic and you really work a lot and you want to give a lot, and the company is very laid back, they have a very fixed timing, and the work is not that great, or it's not future oriented, growth oriented, don't join, because then you will feel undervalued, and vice versa. So one thing I would like to add with whatever Rajni sir and ma'am has said, please align your culture, your goals with the company, and don't run a rat race. Even if all your friends might be having a job, be very focused as to what do you need. Give a good research. Like somebody said that if I have 1 hour to cut a tree, 15 minutes I'll be, working on my axe. So that has to be your preparation level, because otherwise you will just be another candidate for them. So be a very focused, have a very good research and a focused life. And do what you love. That's very important.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for highlighting, and thank you for those words. Like very rightly said, alignment is very much required, and everyone should focus on that. Thank you all three of you, and welcome all the three next joining speakers. Now I'll hand over to Rudesh sir and Chandan bhai for the next section. And
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you,
Sure. Thank you
Rudesh. Thank
so
you,
much,
Thank you so
We'll
much.
take your leave.
sir.
We'll take your leave. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Rajneesh sir,
Yes.
Pranita ma'am, and Pooja ma'am. First of all, thank you so much for sparing time on this Saturday morning. I can understand how difficult and your all schedules are, but really thank you for guiding. Guys, you can definitely connect to Rajneesh sir, Pranita ma'am, and Pooja ma'am on LinkedIn. You know, they are actively there, and I've always seen them. Just to quickly share. Uh, I had just messaged 2 hours before yesterday, Rajneesh sir on LinkedIn that we are doing this session, sir. Will you be able to? Because I didn't have his number. In next 2 hours, he called me up and, he's like, I received your message and I'm very happy. So that's the, people say somebody may not even reply on LinkedIn, but as Harshit also said, he got his first job from a LinkedIn. So I think we need to be there. So thank you so much, all three of you. Thank you so much for taking out time.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Parinda.
you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Pooja.
All the
Bye.
best.
Thank you very
All the
much.
best.
So much.
So let's get excited, guys, for I think after this amazing panel session one on resume interviews, I'm sure a lot of your doubts are cleared. We've got this top leaders panel, and I think we couldn't get better speakers. We have CA Murtuza Kachwala, sir, CA Neerav